hello from gardening at Dwensa here in Ireland. And the first Cattleya of the season is always really exciting to me because, you know, it's September now, we're into autumn, we're into fall, and I always look forward to my big girl Cattleyas in full flower. So let's see what the first one this year is. This very fine Cattleya that we're looking at is a hybrid, a cross, intergenetic cross, a BLC, so Brassiolaeliocattleya Ann Cleo, all put together, and she's called Ann Cleo. Let's go in and have a look at her. And do you know what she reminds me of? Look at that deep magenta lip, the yellow throat, those pink markings on the white petals. To me, she looks exactly like raspberry ripple ice cream. Now this one we're looking at, it's just Ann Cleo. It's not one of the, you know, the cultivars known as Stars and Stripes, or there are various other ones. But even though it's not one of the particular cultivars, I think it's just a fine plant. Can you see how the pink tinges and pink stripes on the top petals are more pronounced on this top flower than on the bottom flower? And I'm not quite sure why that is. This bottom one opened first, but this one has the prettier markings. The scent is good, but not overpowering. Definitely a Cattleya kind of scent. And it's come out more in the last few days, so it did take a while before I could even tell that there was any scent there. Let's have a little look inside that lip. You could just lose yourself in there. I love this. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And the frilliness here. I've had this lovely Cattleya for 3 years, and it flowered for the first time in 2014, which was soon after I just started this plant channel. So I'm going to put a link up above now to the video I made at the time, which was a general video about all the orchids I had in flower at that particular time in autumn, in fall in 2014. And you can see that Ann Cleo looked very good on her first flowering. But after that video was taken, disaster struck, and when I went to repot the poor plant, I noticed that her roots had deteriorated quite badly. So I had to repot her in this shallow bowl that you see here and tie her quite tightly in to make sure she wouldn't wobble about. She had so few roots that was hard to make her stable, but this kind of plastic wire has proved very good. And she did well. She grew roots. She didn't flower last year, but this is the first time that she's flowered again after her little mishap. However, as the New Suitable developed, I started to notice some strange markings. Now, I'm just going to turn the plant around here so that we can see what I'm talking about. We're now looking at the back of the leaf of the New Suitable, and as you can see, there's a lot of red on it. Now, I could almost be convinced that this was just the result of very good light. And you know how New Suitables come up quite red when they're exposed to the right amount of light in Cattleyas. But there was something about it that I just didn't like. So the plant got isolated, and I was just afraid it was some kind of rot that was running through it. I've mentioned to you before how my plants have had this rot popping up, and you know, you think you come to grips with it and then it pops up again in another plant. And you can see here on the leaf as well. Look at that, these marks here. I'd love if somebody could convince me this was perfectly okay, because it's a bit different to how the rot I occasionally have in my plants. It's a bit different to how that manifests. But anyway, I mean, I thought what I should do is cut off the New Suitable because it's got some marks on. But I just couldn't bring myself to do that because it had been so long since I'd seen Ann Cleo in flower. I just had to see her in flower one more time, even if I was going to just, you know, lose the whole plant as a result of it. See here on this old pseudobulb, this dark marking just at the top of the pseudobulb. what I call like the neck of the leaf. I have that popping up in several places, so if anybody has come across it, then do let me know. But anyway, back to Ann Cleo, looking so fantastic on this sunny morning in September, and I'm very delighted to say I'm very glad to welcome her as my first Cattleya of the season, and I hope she augurs well for lots more super things to come. Perhaps her scent is going to come out more fully as the days go on, and if so, I'll let you know in another video. We're just going back in there to have a look at this gorgeous raspberry ripple ice cream effect again. I just want to sink my teeth into her and yum her down, except of course then I wouldn't have an orchid, so we won't do that. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention about Ann Cleo is that this plant starred in a second video of mine way back in the day, and that video was the orchid comedy I made. Yes, I made an orchid comedy, and I'm going to put a link to that video up above. Have a look. And finally, before I wrap up this video, I just want to tell you about something that happened to me recently, and it has led to a few changes on my channel. I was invited to the YouTube Creator event up in Dublin, and it was open to any YouTube creator who had over 1,000 subscribers, so it was very exciting to go up there to the Google buildings and go in and see if they gave out free food, just like in the films. And you know, they did. I got free food and free drinks. It was great. But the day was very useful, and they gave us lots of useful hints on ways to improve our channels. Of course, I was one of the older ones there, which was slightly disconcerting, but sure, that's the nature of the game, isn't it? So the first thing you're going to see is that on all of my videos, there is now something called a watermark, which is this kind of tiny little picture that appears in the bottom left. And it's a black and white drawing of a make-believe orchid. Please, orchid growers, don't kill me. It was a drawing my daughter did for my book, Journal of an Irish Garden. So I've used that as the watermark on the videos. And what this little watermark does is, if you click it, then you can subscribe to the channel. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, go on. You know you want to. Go click it. Go subscribe. And the other thing I've changed is, well, just a slight change really, the art on my front page of the YouTube channel. You know, the picture at the top that has all those pots all lined up in the greenhouse. I've put a little text on there which says my frequency of uploads. So there will be new videos every second day, in case you hadn't noticed already. But it's for new people coming into the channel. They want to know how prolific a YouTuber I am, I guess. And the third thing I'm looking at doing at the moment is giving my YouTube videos a common look and feel. So the thumbnail, the tiny little picture that you see which represents each video, they need to have something in common, something to kind of brand them as belonging to Gardening at Douentza. So I'm looking at doing that on the new videos that come up. So look out for that change, won't you? Okay, that's all for the moment. This was my video on the first Cattleya to flower of the season, and this year it's BLC Ann Cleo. Welcome back, Anne. We're glad to see you back, and please, you know, stay healthy, stay good, keep flowering for me from now on, because you're a welcome addition to my collection. Thanks very much to everyone for watching, and that's all for now. Bye.
You know, you can look at someone's videos and think, oh my god, I really admire them, I think they're great, but that doesn't mean that you have to do that, or that doesn't mean that you're actually going to be good at that. So never upload a video the night that you edit it, unless you're in a mad rush. If you can, make it, film it, edit it, go to bed and then look at it again. That's the best advice I could ever give, because after you sleep you're going to look at it again the next morning and see all the shit bits, basically.